Welcome back to the Nick and Randy Show. Yes,
Randy
I
and
get to
Nick
call
Show.
it the Nick and Randy Show when I do the introductions. How are you doing, Mr. Randy?
It's been so long since we've done one of these that I almost forgot my decorum, my etiquette, my how you know how we have online personas and then we have real life personas. I'm forgetting my online persona, which is weird.
But this is the show where we don't have our online persona. So just use your normal persona.
Okay, here's my normal persona. Because I just got a notification saying that the sample that I texted you before we started recording said it didn't send. So I accidentally hit resend. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Hey, buddy, what's up?
Okay. I'm doing good. I've heard some strange rumors about you, Randy. Like you started working for UPS and you work in the Amazon fulfillment warehouse section of UPS.
Yeah, I actually work
right?
at Foxconn, and this is the first thing outside of. This is the first time we're talking in my new location.
I'm honored.
People don't know where I'm at. From what I'm seeing on, I've been a lot more active on. Look at that! I'm all messy. I can see it on my shirt. I don't even know what that green. Anyway, people. I've been more active on Instagram in the last month and some change than I haven't tweeted anything in almost a month. I've been pretty empty on Twitter, which is weird because
everything's empty on Twitter. So
Instagram has been my new daily. More so because, like, I see Twitter as the update platform. You show your persona. You did the whole thing on Twitter, which I like. But I've had more things to share visually, and so I've been on Instagram, and people who I know from our fan base some of them don't know where I'm at still.
Yeah.
And one guy goes, because yesterday, I filmed how crazy rainy it was, and we have the same type of weather pattern as like Colorado, where if you don't like the weather, just wait 15 minutes. And literally within 15 minutes, it went from this hard gust of wind and rain that I showcased to it was calm and the sun came out. I was like, no, I don't like this. This is very un-Californian. And and some guy responds to me, and he responds and he goes, "Hey, we're having the same thing out here in Virginia right now." And he's somebody from the fan from just our fan base. So I laughed. I was like, that's funny. I was like, oh, no kidding. You don't
Me
say.
too.
You don't say. So but I mean, as you can see, as we can all see, I'm not fully unpacked yet. Just from all this, a lot of this stuff is actually I went from a 3-bedroom. I'm now into a 2-bedroom, so stuff from the guest bedroom is currently living in here. I have not unboxed my trees yet, because spoiler if no one knew, they're fake, so they're still wrapped up. My trees. Yeah.
Heresy.
So my background isn't rocking, but oh my God, Nick, I was saying right before we start recording, I want to kind of double down on it. I am loving your background. I am loving your set. I am loving your foreground, background, and then you being the ground. I like the space, not Easter egg, I don't know what to call it, but just the memorabilia. You got some space. You got the T. You got bokeh balls. You got the Mac. You got everything that represents you in a single frame, subconsciously sitting right there, and it's not distracting. It's still very clean, and I'm loving the lighting. I love the contour light you have on your face. I love the lighting that you have going on behind the regular lights with your little bokeh balls. I can see all of this and things that you haven't talked about. At least I don't think you've talked about, and I'm just appreciating it. It's not too blurry. It's not too bokeh out. It's not in frame. Everything's. You are goals. I love it.
Aw, thanks, Randy. I appreciate it. I am goals. I do acknowledge this about myself. Sometimes I inspire myself, much to the chagrin of a certain podcasting
I'm so glad I
co-host who thinks he
inspired you to inspire yourself.
Yes. No, man.
I went to I'm sorry, before you go really quickly, Krispy Kreme's, today is National Donut Day, so I went down there and got a free donut, but I got coffee.
Ooh. That's what the errand was all about. Randy was like, "Yeah, I can't record
No,
until after my
that
errand."
was a coincidence. I was just on Twitter, so I haven't tweeted anything, but I still go on Twitter to just catch up on things real quick, and it's like, oh, what's going on in the news today? National Donut Day, Krispy Kreme, Dunkin' Donuts. Chase, let's go.
The National Let's Get Fatter Day. Yay!
Just for one day. I'm not. Krispy Kreme, right, is the one that if you're fully vaccinated, they'll give you a donut a day.
Uh-huh.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not cool like that, but I'm cool. I'm cool enough to at least get it today. But side tangent.
There you go.
Talk to me about your set.
Okay.
Inspiring yourself.
So if only you could see the other part of the set that you're not seeing at the moment, you would not think it looks very crispy. Because it's a worky place. Like I live in here, so I have my bed in here too. But I don't call it my bedroom because my bed is just a single twin mattress on the floor because I don't want to waste any floor space on anything. And I move that bed around more times than you'd imagine. So I don't want a bed frame or anything. And I figure I'm only sleeping for 6-7 hours a day and I'm knocked out cold. So I have I have no need for an actual bed.
I don't call this a bedroom. I call it the conference room that I just sleep on the couch from time to time.
There you go. Just rename your bedroom the conference room, and then you can be like,
hey, I'll be in
Elon.
the conference room. Yeah.
Conference room A. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
So basically, this whole space is very modular, I guess. So I did a photo shoot with a friend who lives kind of around me. And I don't think we've necessarily talked about that. But anyway, this cool guy named Cooper, you can find him on Twitter, Cooper Heim, H-I-M-E. He is an astrophotographer, SpaceX guy. He's on the video team with Tim Dodd. He does like actual big production stuff. But anyway, we were over here messing around with some different stuff. Can't really talk about it because he's working on a big project, but basically in the matter of a few minutes I was able to convert what you see now, which is a normal setup with a key light, a kicker, the window, the T, background, Pokeball tree, desk, iMac. I was able to just move all this and turn it into a huge photo studio. I have like some magnetic strips mounted on the ceiling there where I can like put up black drop cloths is what we were using, but you can put up, I have green screens and white ones too. And so anyway, it's a very flexible space, and that's really what I love most about this studio is being able to, change it up. I guess it doesn't ever feel like it's set in stone. Like I kind of have it set up right now, and I think we were messing around with that on Tuesday, and I reset it all back up on Wednesday morning, and I haven't changed it since. But there's not really a need to, I guess, because all my content is, as you said, represented right here. If I want to talk about Apple stuff, I'll probably bring this in frame a little bit more, and then we'll be like, yeah. So I just realized I'm going to be cropping this in like a square here, so let me bring this over here so everyone can actually see. Go. So yeah, if I want to do Apple content, I'd do something more like this. So everyone knew I was doing Apple stuff, and when I record my daily SpaceX shows, I just push that back a little bit further, and you can see the satellite back there a little bit better.
How are you liking your full-time job, Mr. YouTube? I don't know if we've done one of these since you've became technically monetized, have we? So what's changed? What stays the same for the daily life of Van Sweeney?
So I was listening to our last episode that we recorded of the Randy and Nick show, and that was the show that I hadn't told you about the Cube project yet.
All right, that was the last one. Yep.
Yeah, and so I after we ended that call, I showed you the project, and yeah, about 2.5-3 weeks later, I actually did the project, and then a week after that, I posted the video. So yeah, it's I don't know. So there was like a solid 4 weeks there after I published the Cube video, and for those who don't know, I posted this video where I turned an old G4 Cube and I combined like the logic board of an M1 Mac Mini, and I put those two together, so now I have an M1 Cube. It's a very beautiful computer. I use it every day. Actually, we're recording this podcast with the computer, so you're in the Cube at the moment, Randy.
Oh God, I feel so Steve Jobs than Johnny right now.
Ooh, I see. Yeah, so that was a big video, and I was expecting it to do like moderately well. Like for that channel, I think it had like 300 subs or something. I was expecting it to get about 5,000 views, kind of as like a pretty much best case scenario. And I was going to be completely content with that because I did the project for myself, not for the clicks or whatever.
Yeah.
But it kind of blew up. And I know you, as soon as I told you that project, like right after we recorded the last episode of this show, you said, Nick, this is going to get 100,000 views. And I was like, no, Randy, it's not. You're silly. And Drew told me that exact same thing privately later. And I was like, you guys are crazy. This is going to get like 5,000-ish, and it's going to be whatever it is, because I just want to do the cube. Like I didn't really care about the video. But I post it, and YouTube catches it, I don't know. I haven't checked in the past couple weeks, but it was like at 170,000 last I checked, and so it's kind of like mind-blowing numbers. And because of all that, basically I have a monetized YouTube channel now. And it's the first time I've personally monetized a channel that I've made myself. Obviously, the Tearless of podcast channel is something that I started, but that's not my personal thing. That's all three of us. And so that was kind of a huge monumentous occasion, but that peak of celebratoriness was quickly dwarfed by the mounting feeling of needing to one-up myself.
Yeah.
And the uncertainty and insecurities that come with that. And so if y'all were wondering what happened to me over the past month, I was pretty much hiding from myself. And I was every single moment that I wasn't like focused on doing something like mechanical or functional throughout my day, like brushing my teeth or eating dinner or whatever. If I wasn't doing something, I was thinking about what am I going to do next? And it wasn't this like excited, like, oh wow, what am I, yay, there's so many opportunities here. And there was a little bit of that, but most of all it was like, holy crap, like
I get it, man.
Like thousands of people who want to see more of this stuff. And my list of ideas for other projects, I said it in that one update video, is, I don't know, 6-7 good ideas that I thought could be made. But like for me, it was like after I make those 6-7 ideas, I cannot think of anything else to do with that channel. It feels like a dead end. And
you would think that, but when they did the first season of Mythbusters, they said they only had 5-6 ideas, and they're like, there's like after that, like there's no more myths to be busted, and it's a living, breathing idea that grows. And then they went on for so long doing all these scientific testings and had special guests. It got so much bigger than these 4 or 5 ideas or 6 ideas that they had. Yeah. They're like, we have enough for like a season, kind of. And they're like, after this, I don't know. Even if we renew our season, we get picked up. What else is there to test? And then they went years and years and years and years and years. And I remember having the same feeling about a few things on my own. I was like, what's there to make after this? But your brain, the way you create everything, always adapts and expands. It's never linear and stays in place. Your 6 ideas will open the gateway for so much more, because things that we talked about, which I don't think you went in full detail. I know you showcased something with the iPhone, so we could talk a little bit about that. But things that you said, like there's paths that will branch out that go into that, and you would have more than enough content, because then people would give you suggestions. The thing I remember telling you then was, one, I was like, Nick, this is gonna get a lot of views. You're gonna get monetized. And I said, I'm gonna tell you the same thing that was told to me. You can't afford to not make this. And
this is true.
You brought up a very valid counterpoint after the fact that I knew you were gonna cross. That it was just a thing, and something that you brought up, a very valid point, was saying monetarily it can't be sustainable. You just put pain out of pocket. The thing is, the more money you spend, the higher. I don't personally, from my own experience of becoming monetized on multiple channels, and you as well now, the stuff that blew up is the stuff that cost me a lot of money. My Tesla, it has not paid for itself yet like that.
Yeah.
I bought a Tesla, and that's what made me get monetized. Going to LA to see the Cybertruck was the explosion of everything, but I was already in scope of being monetized before that video happened. I spent a lot of money on my own personal channel with the gear that I bought over the years. That one was a little bit more of an organic growth, but then also, topics arisen that drew attention with that, but all that came at a cost of money as well. And things that people want and they support, they do cost money. And the point that you brought up, being you're not a full studio, you don't have a full team, it's just you in a house, in a bedroom. In your conference room A, and and this is where ideas come to life.
It's my roommate / mother is definitely not the person who lives downstairs.
But this is the room that ideas come to life, and until you have a
Exactly.
full team or you have at least some type of funding that goes with it, it is hard to keep that level of sustainability. I think creating a Patreon that like you did is a very great idea for those who want to support.
So,
but, you know, that's that kind of stuff.
yeah. So you bring up the financial piece, and yeah, I would agree with you that there are tons of ideas that I haven't even considered and won't even consider, until I get there. But unlike the MythBusters, I don't have someone else's money to spend, and so it's a lot more justifiable when like I am so passionate about the Cube project that I'm like dreaming about it. It's more justifiable to drop $1,400-$1,600 on a project when like I'm just obsessed with this, and I'm like, I know if I don't do this, I'm gonna regret this. But unfortunately, I just haven't felt the same way about any other projects that I've thought of.
That's
and
fine.
They'll be cool projects, and I'm sure that they'll chase the views and stuff. And now that it's monetized, there's a fair argument they could start paying for themselves, but that's a lot of financial risk on me, and something that I've always striven to keep on is like a mindset throughout all of my content creation is I want every dollar I spend to end up on the screen. I don't want to waste a bunch of money in places that don't need it. I mean, that's why I live at home. That's why I drive an old car. That's why I, don't do the fun things. I haven't traveled in months. At least how I used to. I used to fly very nicely and stuff. But that obviously was kind of the pandemic that shut me off that. But I kind of realized that it's better to spend money on things that will impact the content positively, right? So. For me, like, okay, this next project that I'm looking at was like a G4 iMac conversion, the Daisy, flat panel one.
The true collaboration of Steve Jobs and Johnny Ive.
Yeah, it was looking to be a fun project, but that's another $700 and something Mac Mini I got to buy. That's another $400 vintage Mac I need to buy. I had to figure out an LCD panel, and wiring involved in that was going to be another couple $100. And when I added all that up, I was like, do I really want to spend another $1,600 here? Because I just pulled up my stats on the Cube video. Keep in mind, I wasn't monetized until kind of already the video had gotten over 100 and I think over 130,000 views. So this number, this whole show is about being open and stuff and not hiding things behind the wall. But over, I don't know, 50,000 views or so, give or take, it's only made $136 fully monetized. And so if I extrapolate that out, that means if I want to spend $1,600 on another project, I need to be expecting in the 500,000s to almost pushing a million of views at this current CPM. And I know that CPM rate's pretty variable. As the longer you're on the platform, the more niche your ads get, whatever. Yeah. But it just felt like a huge business risk that I don't necessarily want to put myself in, because I would much rather be creating content that doesn't require that kind of upfront cost. And, just like, you can talk about Tesla all day and not buy one. I mean, look at Drew. Every single day he's making videos about stuff. And
you could talk about SpaceX and not have it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, maybe. But maybe. I think there's a point though where this stuff just feels like very view chasing, and if there's anything I've ever been more opposed to, it's view chasing. I really hate those YouTubers who are chasing the views, trying to pump the algorithm, and I get it, there's financial pressure behind that, right? Like if I were to embark on one of these $1,600 projects, you betcha I'm going to be clickbaiting everything because I need to make my $1,600 back. Thank you very much.
You look at all those
Plus,
people who have the millions of subscribers, the people that I watch grow up on YouTube in the last 4 years or so. Matt Diavella, Graham Stephan. There's so many. There's so many people that I found them at somewhere between 15,000 subs and under 100K. And I was like, yep, no, I know this is going to become one of those channels that blow up. It just took time, but I like finding these early niches like that people blow up. And I see how their strategy changes to follow the view or chase the view, but they're not doing it they're not doing it maliciously in the sense that like they're trying to get a return on what they're doing, because most of them, what they'll do now is just they cover news in the sense of whether it's crypto or minimalism or content. There's a different variant to it, but they have very clickbaity thumbnails and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like they have certain and that's their clickbaity, but the content doesn't feel like it's watered down, washed out, sold out in a level. It is a balancing act to say that, not to chase the views in that terminology, to say that to never do that is, I do believe it is a level of naiveness, because you are making this for the purpose of releasing it, and who doesn't want a good turnout on it in general? Yeah. How you go about it is a whole different conversation, but you still want a good turnout. It'd be nice.
Yeah.
But staying true to yourself is the most important part of it, and you have to be okay with how you do it. And for you, Nick, you dreamt, fantasized everything about this cube for so long that's what you wanted, and you being the cube addict that you are, obviously this is what you wanted to do. You were going to do it whether you recorded it or not, and that's why you put the money where you did. And had you had a different approach with your 12-inch MacBook, you could have done the same thing in some variant of just bringing back nostalgia, like, look at this perfect piece of engineering. And you could have made a video about that too, and you were still going to spend the money on the MacBook regardless, because this is something that's going to go part of your collection. If you know you are going to spend the money regardless, and you don't care, and I still love the look of that thing, and you don't care that you don't care the turnout. Like, you didn't care what happened with the cube. I just told you it's gonna blow up, and it did. But you didn't care. Like, that's cool if it does. I'll be happy if it does. But I just want the thing. I just want the 12-inch MacBook. There are certain things that you want to pursue, build, experiment, contort, whatever. And when you do that, if it turns positive for something that becomes business related, then good job. And if it doesn't, you still win, because the process of all that was the reward. It's the same thing with the music. I was going to buy the gear. I was going to buy the not the membership, but I was going to. It costs money to put music on streaming services like that. Costs a lot of money to copyright and stuff like that. It's a whole different platform than uploading videos to YouTube. Not to discredit YouTube making by any means, but I'm just saying it's just a different process. But I was always going to do it, so because of that, I don't care. When I had my crossroads, the thing where you went, oh my god, what am I going to do post this? I knew I had a path. I could chase the views, I can milk certain topics that I know were going to blow up, and I could become that and sprinkle some music whatever over it, and that would be the mask of it. But really, I could be a drama channel. I could be whatever, and I didn't want that. I was like,
you could be a drama channel, Randy. Don't worry about that. You got plenty of drama to go around.
I could. I don't want to. I love the art of making music, regardless. The collaboration of working with people, which I am working with somebody, and I don't want to say nothing right now. You teased me about the cube. Before it happened, I'm gonna tease that there's this song I'm working with somebody that even who's a fan, and we're gonna put something out that feels pretty epic. And I was going to want to do this regardless, and that's to my point is that when I was at my crossroads, I said, this is what I'm happy regardless if I just continue making music, and I want to do that. So I chose that path. Less clicks. I get 150 views on average now instead of thousands. And that's fine. I'm okay with it, because one, I'm monetized, and so it does add up. Like, I still, to this date, last month I still got paid by Google. I still get paid, and also that's also because of the Tesla channel too. But I have random videos on my YouTube, on my personal account, that go back years ago that still get traction today, and people forget about that. You and I, we're not in necessarily the tech sphere where it's obsolete after a week. I have stuff that's still relevant years later that is getting acknowledged and clicked on. For me, Tesla is also in that same realm. Me talking about how can I afford this car still gets comments to this day. The Cybertruck, because it's not out, is still worthy in that sense. So I got things that still are evidently relevant for some people, and it works. We don't. The thing I don't chase, it's not that I don't chase the views. I don't chase the algorithm. Because we don't know what it is. Nobody knows what the algorithm is.
The algorithm is just chasing the audience. What you got to do is predict what the audience is going to be watching.
Yeah, and a part of it is that I had to take a risk. There's also high risk, high reward. You took a risk with your Cube because you even acknowledged this might not work. You didn't know. You said, I'm pretty sure it's going to work.
Last time I'd opened up an Apple device, I killed it.
Yeah, it's like, this might blow up in my face. Like, this may
literally, Note I was 7. Stinking with the power supply.
This could Galaxy Note 7 me and just completely...
Yeah.
And then there's that. And then that's the risk that you're going to take. So high risk, high reward. I took a risk in different endeavors with doing the Tesla stuff, which turned out okay, and some of them didn't. Other stuff I took risks with the Tesla, it didn't turn out okay, and that's fine. There's some stuff that I never uploaded because when I went to try to do certain editing, it would only work with the editing. The editing didn't work. I was like, oh my god, it's not that I wasted time, but it's like this didn't go how I want it, and I put time into it, and I was just.
I've had a couple of those videos.
Yeah, and I'm like.
Mostly vlogs.
Vlogs are becoming progressively harder for me to do.
Dude, I've never had a vlog that I did. I was like, oh wow, that was good. Yeah. Every single one, I'm just like, I hate
I'm not
these.
a vlogger then.
So that's why I've stopped doing them. I'm not a vlogger.
This is my vlog now. Let's just sit down, long form.
Yeah, long form.
This editing, it's different when you and I are like hyping something up, and we do like the chip challenge, or we're recording behind the scenes or something. We do skits like, and my vlog is the behind. But like, just say, hey guys, what's up, and then do the Casey Neistat thing and take you on my adventure. It's so not me, and I feel like a phony doing it. Now, if I'm excited to share something, I'll document it as a vlog, sign up. But just to be like, hey, today I made breakfast. Like, I'm not
yummy.
Yeah, I don't know. Things I want to showcase now, if I was to do vlogs, which I don't think I would, but things I want to showcase are actually more in the form of photos now. Kind of like you, in the sense that I inspired you to inspire me. So I got some cool photos I've been taking along the way.
So in a way, you inspired yourself, Randy. Wow.
So in a way, I inspired myself. It's quite noble, really.
Good. Look at the wallpaper I've been rocking for the past few days.
Ooh, I know. Right, looking at, I knew right when I looked. I was like, that's it. I'm gonna show you something. Actually. I want to capture your live reaction.
Okay.
I'm gonna send you 2 photos. Okay.
Okay.
And you'll see them come up on text, and but I want you to click on it, and then I just want you to swipe between the 2.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Give me 1 second.
I will wait.
I was going to.
Do you want me to fill the dead air?
Well, I'm going to explain while I'm pulling it up, but then you can fill dead air. I was going to post this first and then have you do it, but I'm too excited. I kind of want you to do it now. So.
Okay.
Here's number 1 and here's number 2. Hopefully it goes in that order. Let me verify. And yep, okay, so I'm going to send it now. Take a look. Preface before I even send it. Completely unedited, shot on iPhone. And I know how to tell a story with this. It's in the wrong order. Darn it. Hang on. There we go. Okay. 1 and I have to repost the other one. I know how to tell a story with a photo, and I want to try it on you in live time now, and then see if it works with you just by catching your reaction. Then I will. Yeah, perfect. All right, I'm sending it now.
Okay.
Then I will explain my new creative endeavor.
Okay.
Go on the first one.
Still haven't gotten anything yet.
It just sent.
Nope, it came through on my Mac. There it is on my phone. Do I click?
Yeah, click on the first one. All right.
Ooh.
Completely unedited. Not this color. No, genuinely shot on iPhone. No edits. Okay. Now swipe with me.
Beautiful.
Go to the first one that I sent you. I'm gonna tell you.
Ooh.
I'm gonna audibly
Ooh.
narrate something to you, and this is obviously
Okay.
me teasing for the listeners, but this is for there's a. I'm going somewhere with this, ladies and gentlemen. Bear with me. Okay, first one. Looking at it, we worry about the problems of what we're dealing with in our life right now, and sometimes we can't see past our own nose with what we're consumed by. Swipe to the next one, but when you look at the road ahead, you realize it all works
Mm.
out anyway, and you
Mm.
can only connect. And this is where I'm stealing a little bit. You can't connect the dots going forward, only going back. Can you understand the path?
Yeah.
That's how I want to. I want to tell stories like this. It's the exact same spot, just at
Yeah.
different perspectives. Because the metaphor is about perspectives. I want to tell a
Mhm.
story about perspectives with these two photos. It's the
Hmm.
same photo. So this is me hinting at people because I don't know how I'm going to post it yet. I don't know if I'm going to color correct it or edit it a little bit or keep it
I think it
complete.
looks pretty.
Thank you. This is my backyard.
Ooh.
I have a forest in my backyard. So I want to tell a perspective story by giving you literal perspectives at different points of something. And
Hmm.
things like that has excited me. And you can find there's art everywhere
Mm-hmm.
if you know where to look. And I had to be out of my element the moment I was taken out of San Diego.
Yep.
And now I am forcing myself to find the beauty in other things, i.e., what I
Good.
just sent you and what I will eventually show everybody else. There's art and there's beauty everywhere if you just stay open minded to it. I wouldn't do any of these things if there wasn't a hint of passion in it. And
Mhm.
I want to translate these things such as photos and stuff like that, taking things with the photos and outside of the iPhone, do things on the Sony, do things in other elements as well. But I want
Yeah.
to create that. Seeing this moment when I took that photo, seeing your reaction, that's
Mhm.
that's me saying I want a good turnout, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to gauge your reaction on it. I don't want people to be like, all right. They have to understand it. And sometimes I think I go too meta about some stuff, but I try to draw the attention of people who are willing to do that extra layer. You do layers of the same way with your cube, with your passion projects, and some of them pick up, some of them don't go off the ground,
Yep.
but the passion is what fueled it in the first place.
Mhm.
Things like what I just sent you, things that what you've made, things that you've even taken photos of, and things in general. There are certain things when you had your wave crash and you're like, this is it.
Mhm.
There are just moments when you're like, this is it, and
Yep.
I I I am inspired by living in the moment of things that are creative, even if that
Mhm.
means sometimes or most of the time it's going to be in this office creating something.
Yeah.
You could still spark that same inspiration if you know how to look for it.
Yeah.
Only things
absolutely.
that come out of that inspiration get shared to the world. And
Mhm.
where I'm going at with the whole thing overall is if you're not okay with it, don't feel forced to do it. That's when you start to sell out.
Mhm.
Not about the money, you just feel
Yep.
forced to do it. There are videos that never came out because I was not, they weren't to my standard. For you,
Mhm.
you stopped doing reconstructions of sorts because it's like this, I'm not the same hype about it. As you should not do anyway, then if you're not inspired
Yeah.
by it. If you're not willing to put the money in anyway because you weren't going to do it, then there you go. Um, you could still live off of this dream and go to sleep and be happy with itself, even if the mattress is just on the floor and you're like, I
Yeah.
can still go to bed happy tonight. Um,
So,
yeah.
with that whole like kind of taking almost a month off and just kind of being scared, I kind of realized that what I want out of this whole YouTube thing is not to hit some goal or even have it be like long-term financially viable. Like I am perfectly fine going to get like another day job one day. Like that wouldn't kill me. What I want to do with this time that I have is to pursue my passions, and those passions are a lot. So I've kind of always said that like people are kind of like dice. There's a bunch of sides to them, right? really, most people only ever see one or two sides of us, maybe the tech side or the EV side. Right now, if they're watching this, they're seeing the third, the vulnerable, scared creator side. But there's just so many different sides to people that I kind of never have been interested in the idea of pursuing friendships or even an online persona that typecasts me as one type of person, because I am more than just one face of a die. I am many different things.
Did you come
right?
up with that?
Me and my really good friend, like in high school, came up with it. I don't know if he got it from somewhere or where we really got it from, but
Well,
I've used that.
I wrote it down because
Okay. Wow.
that's amazing. I've never heard it like that. And
I'm glad
love
I
that.
inspired you, Randy. I'm glad I inspired you.
I quoted you. That's
Okay.
I've never heard that before. I love that.
It'll be one of those Michael Scott quotes where people are like dice, Nikki Ann Sweeney, and then Randy Vasquez.
I'm sorry. I did. Go ahead. You were saying? I love the
Yeah,
dice thing.
so-
That's a great analogy.
Yeah. So like I'm like a dice, and I don't want to just be known for one thing, which is why I was so scared with this cube thing, because like I knew if I made another few of these videos, that's all I'd ever be known for, right? And okay, some creators have successfully pivoted from one section to another, but typically only within one subgenre, right? You're not going to be watching, Marquez for his the smoothie videos.
I was
makeup
thinking
tutorials.
food too. I was thinking.
Okay.
Food. I was
Well,
like,
I'm kind of hungry. I hadn't had lunch yet.
I was
so.
thinking about food too. I was like, it's like I'm not gonna watch Marquez talk about this hot dog that he liked. I don't.
And
care.
okay, like I'll probably watch one or two and be like, "Oh wow, this is weird. Ooh, let me just stop and drink you in." But then, like after a while, I don't really care what Marquez thinks about food, and that's kind of the thing, right? Like all these people get typecasted on YouTube, and Louis Rossman is known for fixing stuff and for
Right to
not liking
repair.
the city of New York at this point.
Yeah.
Did you see that video?
Yes, I did. That's
like-
amazing.
I'm moving to Florida. I'm sick of it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. He goes, for all of you people who are sitting there saying, "Why are you still here?" I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, like 2 days ago, he posted a video and he's like down in Florida, like looking for property. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah,
that's besides the point. But like after you get established as one type of thing, like Drew couldn't just start making makeup tutorial videos on YouTube. Like that wouldn't work. His audience is all about tech, right? And that's Drew got typecasted as the Apple sheep, and he embraced it, right? And that's his whole kind of brand. He's trying he has been trying to pivot towards EV stuff, which is going well for him. But at the end of the day, he's mainly known for being the Apple sheep. And I don't want to be known as the cube guy or the conversion guy, because guess what? I'm not an engineer. I used like a lot of hot glue in that thing. And one of the main reasons why I haven't posted the how I made it video is because I don't feel like I really did anything. Like I gutted the computer, which there are tons of guides online to gut G4 cubes. And then I literally like hot glued a power supply and
enough.
logic board in it.
It
So and I used like 2 screws, and it works great. But like I feel like the vulnerable side of me is like, I don't really want to get mocked on the internet for using so much hot glue. But then also it's like I don't feel like I did too much because it's not that complicated. And there are tons of other YouTube channels that I watch. I love Veritasium. I love Real Engineering. I love these channels who know so much about this, and they do so much research. And the name of the channel's skipping my memory at the moment, but it's the guy who made the basketball hoop that like moves, so it always gets your shot.
Yes.
Did you see that video?
I did see that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I know, and so that dude is like on another level. Like he has CNC machines and 3D printers and all that. And I'm like a dude with a hot glue gun, and it's like
but you're also a dude who didn't even have 1,000 subscribers. Like you didn't have the budget to do all these things.
I understand that, but I'm never going to be that guy.
Well,
I'm never going to. I
maybe
will
not gonna
guarantee
make a
you.
basketball court thing, sure, but
No, I'm never going to be the guy to tinker over an engineering project problem like one of these guys do. Like,
no,
who is it?
because you're the guy who
Smarter Every Day.
follows,
They made like a cannon or whatever.
But
Mark
that's
Roper.
not who you are.
Like I'm not.
You're the
I
guy
don't want to do that.
You follow aesthetic first, and you go, how can we fit function into form, not form into function? That's you. That's you've taken the adoption that many of us like and idolize and respect Steve Jobs for. I mean, even to a certain level, Elon does it with his vehicles and stuff like that. Like there is architecture and as a whole is basically around that. How can you make beauty and then fit the function into that form? That's who you are. That's why you do photography and everything. And you your DNA, the way I perceive it, is strictly presentation first. Look how you're sitting. You purposely put yourself right in the middle of the T, where when we do like the podcast, that is intentional. Everything that we're seeing right now, because I'm seeing what will be the final version. Whether even though I'm getting the 16:9 aspect and stuff like that, but even when we do other like what you do is completely intentional. I'm here today. I'm not giving you the best. All right, like this is me. Here I am, but you would not have done this. You care about presenting yourself in a certain format, not in a vanity type of way, but in a way of self-respect. And what you follow is design first. Then you like, how can we make it work? But it's always been designed first. Even if something is trivial and small, minuscule in the whole scheme of thing, you were talking about designing these certain cards. Had we formed a certain company of sorts, and they were gonna have, and it was all about design first. Like that's just what you do.
Branding and marketing too.
You take any concept and you say, how can I bring out the beauty in this? How can I make it look better? How can I showcase elegance in such a way? That's what photography is all about. At least the type of photography you do. You're not filming, dead carcasses on the side of the road or something. Like your approach to things
that you know of.
That I know of. If you had a dark room of dead things, I would second guess everything about you. but that's my point is that you're not an engineer. You're not trying to build a new, better something. How can I make this better? It's not how can you make it better. It's how can I make it look better. That's your approach towards everything. So
yeah. But at the end of the day, I don't even want to be known as a content creator that makes stuff. I want to follow my passion, whatever that passion is. And for a while, it was the cube. Right now, I am knee deep in space content. And to be completely honest, I feel like I'm going to be in space content for a long time. I don't ever think I felt that way about the cube, that like I was going to be doing space stuff or cube stuff for a long time. I feel like the tech genre in general on YouTube is so oversaturated at the moment. Like it's peaked. I'm sorry, it's plateaued. Some creators will rise to the top, some big ones will fall, whatever. But like it's big, right? Like most of the biggest ones, Marquez has what, 12 million, 14 million, something like that.
I have no idea.
Louis Rossman has 20 something million. Like the big ones are already established.
No, Louis Rossman has 1.5 mil.
Yeah. And even Drew has a 250,000. So, it's like the big ones that it feels like it's kind of plateaued and like the growth isn't going to be there anymore. So like you really got to fight to be the best content creator on tech, because guess what? The reason why I haven't done an iMac review video is because I've watched like 30 of them. And my favorite Elon Musk quote, which I've stumbled upon a couple days ago, it's been my Twitter banner for like a week and a half now. And I'm pulling it up because I'm stalling. Elon said, you shouldn't do things differently just because they're different. They need to be better. And that has really driven a lot of my content thought in the past week
down.
Of I don't want to do stuff that's different just because it's different. And everyone says, okay, you gotta be different on YouTube. You gotta have a different personality. You gotta bring something new to the table. And I get that. You have to bring value somehow. But the reason why you should be making something is not just to be different. And so that's why I feel like tech is just not something I even really want to get into anymore. It's just like everything's kind of already set. And being able to do something better than Marquez, I'm sorry, but my iMac review is not going to be better than Marquez's. And maybe better doesn't need to be judged as video quality. Maybe better can be better ideas. But I guarantee you that there's going to be 30 or 40 other creators who have better ideas than me. I may never find them because YouTube's a huge iceberg buried under and you never see everything. But I know that what I can bring to like an iMac review is not going to be better in any significant way to what's already been done. Same with EV. I feel like the EV space is, I feel like about 10% the size of the general tech space. So I feel like there's still a good amount of upside. It's still going to be growing for a good number of years. But you look at EV, some of the bigger EV people have 5-6 million subscribers, somewhere around there. So I feel like there's still a good amount of growth happening in the EV space. But at the end of the day, I'm not hyper passionate about EVs other than the Cybertruck. And I feel like I'm not going to be able to bring something that's better than these other people. Now, what I have noticed is the space genre on YouTube is in its infancy. Like this time, if I would have like gone gung ho on space stuff when I first started Tailosive Space, like a year and a half ago at this point, like I'm positive I would have been monetized. I'm positive, it would be an actual income maker. But I didn't, but that means I'm starting now. Space is so small. The biggest space creators right now, Scott Manley, Tim Dodd, obviously there's a few other ones, but those are kind of the two big ones in my mind. Tim just passed 1 million and Scott Manley's at like 1.25 million. And it's not about the numbers specifically, but the numbers indicate a trend of general interest in a certain topic.
Yeah, you're giving context.
Exactly. And so, and I know there are people just like the rest of us, so I'm not, I care less about the number at the end of the day. I'm just saying in general, the space community has been growing so rapidly, and it's going to continue to grow rapidly. When you look at what's coming down the pike for space content, you got Starship, you got like Falcon 9 more reliability, you got more like commercial missions and stuff. There's going to be when the cost of flying to space goes down to something that a rich person could generally afford, maybe $200,000, something like that.
Yeah.
There's going to be so much interest in space because everyone who sees, oh, my favorite Instagram celebrity just went to space. What's this all about?
Yeah.
There's going to be an explosion like we've seen in the tech space, like we've seen in the EV space. That hasn't happened yet in the space space. And so that's kind of why I'm so interested in this from one angle. And the other angle is I've always been interested in space. Long before I was interested in computers, long before I was interested in EVs, I was interested in Legos and rockets. As a little 7-year-old Nick, Legos and rockets were his life. And coming all the way full circle back to rockets and looking at that as like a viable career. Now, I'm no engineer, so I knew that I was probably never going to work at, Lockheed or Boeing or NASA. Neither did I really ever want to. Because that's like a lot of work, and I don't want to do calculus in my head. No thanks. And so it's kind of always just felt out of reach. But now I'm like, oh wow, there's like this whole content creation side of it that is about to blossom so much, and it'll be grinding, and whatever. It's not all going to be daisies and roses, but it's something that I am passionate about, and I see myself being passionate about it for a long time because I've been passionate about it since I was like 6.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah.
Things. Eventually, I expect you to have a different interest on a different thing for a different side of the cube.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my interest in space as a whole. February 2020, I was an opening buyer, not early, but when on the market, Virgin Galactic went public, and I bought a lot of it. I was like, this is going to work. It blew up real quick because of the hype, and then it fell so quick because of
Yep.
and I was like, no, this is a long-term holding thing, because right now Virgin is the only public space competitor in a sense of like SpaceX that's trying to put people into space, like exactly what you were saying about people who want to go up
commercial.
there. And then this past 2 weeks, it was over a week ago now. They had successful.
They did a test.
Yep. And I only knew this worked in the midst of me just still assembling my life in my new environment. I have been off of the stock market, crypto, news, tech, everything. I've been completely hands off. It wasn't until I got notified that my Virgin Galactic holdings were. It's like, why? Oh, and
Yeah.
I know space is the new, will be the new thing because space is the final frontier, and we as mankind have always been fascinated about what's up there. And I remember telling you this all the time, and it's still true to this day, especially being away from the city. Oh my God. I love going upside and looking at the stars. I just go look at the stars. I am obsessed. I think we talked about it here on the show a while back. I watched John Glenn go into space in the 90s. His last, I think one of his last, if not his last
shuttle
flight when I was living when I was living in Florida at the time. My dad took me, and I was so fixated from that moment on. I didn't know who John Glenn was. I didn't know what he does. He's like, do you want to see something that very few people get to witness in their lifetime? Do you want to see someone do something that they're really good at? Yeah, let's go. And so he took me up, and I watched the launch. I was like, that is the coolest thing. Just watching it go with my own eyes. I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. My little brain was. My dad looked at me and goes, if you want to go to Mars, you want to be an astronaut, it's going to happen in your lifetime where you would be one of the people to go. Not me. I'll be too old. I'll be gone by then probably, but you'll be able to go. I was like, oh, okay, maybe. And then it turns out John Glenn was a pilot in the Marine Corps, so I was kind of following his footsteps in a sense. So he was in the Marines, but I just that day I was 8 or 9. I was tiny. I was young, 7 maybe, somewhere between 7 and 9. I saw this happen, and I have always been fixated on space. It's not something I talk about because I don't know. I can articulate pretty well about tech, EV, stocks, minimalism, music. I don't know how to articulate my fascination with space because there's so much I don't know about it in the same way. You know, I could study it and I can understand the engineering and how all this happens, but that's not the part I care about. I actually care about what's up there, not how we make it happen. That's cool. I love that. That's not where my heart lies when it comes to space. My heart lies with seeing beautiful planets that come in HD photos now, and seeing how galaxies just look, and I put on space ambient noise on YouTube that's like 3 hours or 8 hours long, and I just listen to it and I relax. And Emilio and I one time put it on, and we took a nap in my living room. Because we were doing something that day. We're tired. Like, yo, let's go to Starbucks. We got some iced chais. Put on space ambient, and we knocked out. We took the best 20-minute nap of our life. We woke up and we were just motivated. Like, let's go make some music. We were just so happy.
Nice.
So there's this connection with it that's just so. You know, I don't know. My favorite game in the whole world ever is Halo, because it has to do with space. I love the Halo series so much, which is why I wanted to write Drew's theme sound to match Halo in the same sense, because I know his origin of the T and how that was a derivative from Halo. I was like, yes, this is perfect. Everything about that stuff is so cool. I feel like my contribution to it is as an investor, and I would love SpaceX to go public. I know Elon doesn't want to do it. He wants to have control over it, and I respect that. But I will contribute what I can towards it because there's so much fixation. And you're absolutely right, Nick. There is going to be... It is still baby. What's going to happen to space, as this becomes more notable, is what happened with EV right as Model 3 was now coming around the corner, and then all this started happening.
Yep.
And... Excuse me. It's exciting to watch. I think I remember what you call. Okay, about a month ago. Less than a month ago. Sorry, I don't know anymore. Time ago, you called me. This is when you were hiding from YouTube. And you're like, "Hey man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think I'm just gonna put everything on the one channel. I don't know.
Yeah.
I talk about it. This is you were racking your head with me. you send me your intro about, I follow my passion and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you had to put, actually, before I say it, I don't want to spoil it if you already did it. Hang on. If you had to put, Nick, there you are. Okay. Nice. I love that. Okay. You're cute. I had to look
What?
at your bio. Drones are a living, starships are my dreams. Okay.
Yes.
The way you capture it, I used to work a 9 to 5 and I quit my job and now I follow my dream. Like that statement, that's your intro that you were showing me is like, hey, what do you think about this and stuff like that. When I saw that, I was like, that's a perfect bio thing for you. Like that's it. It's open ended. It's wherever you're passionate about. I like in my own humorous kind of way. It's like I wrote the music to that thing you heard. It's funny. It's open ended. It could mean anything and stuff like that. But you sending me that when I saw the clip, and I saw the passion that just went into you making that intro, the stinger of it. I was like, that is you on the YouTube side. That's you on a way that who is Nick? This is the guy who's curious. You are the you can be the in my eyes, you're the Jeff Goldblum of YouTube. Curiosity. I would love to do a segment, some type of series where I, as the Jeff Goldblum, get to go explore my curiosities about things that have to do. Like when I went to Giga, Texas, that was cool to see. I wanted to talk to somebody, only to find out I was on forbidden parts of it. I was like, I gotta get out of here. I'm getting yelled at. But I would love to just chase these curiosities the way you want to chase some. I don't know if you didn't say during recording. No. So how you're gonna go maybe do little trips here and there about whatever. I want to be able to chase things like that too because it's cool.
Yeah.
But
we can talk about that, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, well, then go ahead. Talk about it. Say it.
Yeah. So part of this whole thing being passionate about space, I have been looking for years almost for like some kind of niche that I can pour myself into. And space is obviously a good category, and I think it's going to be growing. I don't feel like it's because, again, following my Elon quote, I need to find something and do it better than what's already been done because I don't want to just repeat other things. And looking for niches, I found one at Starbase, Texas. It's where SpaceX is making their orbital test vehicles, the Starships, and there's tons of people down there already, doing different news coverage. People have made studios down there. There are people who do crispy camera coverage. Heck, there are people working on like gimbals and stuff, and just like all of this cool stuff that's going on down there. And I just felt so drawn to Starbase that I'm like, I really want to get down there, but what am I bringing? Like any time that you, more than a paycheck, you need to be bringing value to the world. More than bringing home a paycheck, you need to be bringing value to the world. And you have to find a way to bring that value somehow. And if you bring enough value, the money will come later. And, I'm not necessarily worried about the money, but I got to bring the value is step one. Where can I be bringing value down in Starbase? And, I don't have the crispiest camera in the world. It might look nice in the studio, but, it doesn't have the longest focal length. I can't fly around in an air. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I can't fly around like RGV aerial photography and take aerial pictures once a week of Starbase. He brings a lot of value that way. I don't live down there and right next door, so I can't take pictures all the time like Mary from Boca Chica Gal on Twitter. But what can I do? Well, I can probably talk about it. I'm good about that. And so I was like, well, there are already tons of these, weekly news shows that kind of cover all the space news. But what if instead of covering all the news in general, because at the end of the day, I'm not super interested in NASA. I mean, I'm interested in NASA more than I am about, Tesla per se, probably. But, I'm much more interested in SpaceX. And to be completely honest, I'm not quite as interested in Falcon 9 as I am about Starship. So if we're getting to like what I'm most interested about and what I'm most passionate about, it's Starship. And so what if I just talk about that? What What if I ignore everything else? Because a lot of these other shows that I see, they're talking about NASA, they're talking about Falcon 9s, they're talking about Blue Origin, they're talking about Virgin Galactic, and they fill a whole 20-minute weekly news show about it, and that's great, and I enjoy that content. I've watched that for years. Tomorrow, Marcus House, there are tons of good creators who do this. How can I do this better? And for me, it just kind of came down to okay, well, I'm just going to cover Starbase news. Is there enough news in a week to cover a weekly show?
Have you thought about
on
joining
Starbase?
the Space Force, Nick?
No, I have not. Sorry. It'd be way more cool down in Starbase. Space Force is cool and all, but I've heard from people inside it's not easy to get in.
I'm trying to get in. I've been trying to talk.
Really?
That is a very big twist of words. If I'm being if it's a simple yes or no, it's more of a no than a yes. But
okay.
I'm asking, how can a prior service veteran enter a new branch? But because the trick is with Space Force, it's because it's still so baby new. It's I'm prior enlisted. How would a prior enlisted personnel be able to specifically get Space Force as an officer now? I have a degree and stuff like that, and I wouldn't want to go in so I could do logistics. I don't want to do admin. I don't want to do financial. I don't want to do intel. If I was to ever go back into service, it would be as an officer. One, two.
Yeah, of course.
It would be the Space Force, and if I could do the Space Force, it's because I want to be directly involved with us in space, not the pay or supply or I want to work on that. It's easier just to do that on the private side than the government side, and right now in that sense. So that's why it's more of a no. But I have poked around just from seeing how Brittany is doing her life in the Air Force. I was like, man, I joined the wrong branch. Everything's so beautiful over here, and I watched where Brittany works at. There's a NASA part there. And it's very, very restricted. We accidentally got to the gate thinking we were going in from a different point, because there's many points of entrance to the base. And right when he pulled up and she shows the military ID, the guy didn't even he goes, wrong gate, because he knew what to look for. He's like, that's a DOD CAC. That is not what we used. You're at the wrong gate. Oh, can we? But the entrance right there is you can't come through here. You have to turn around. Okay, good to go. We turn around.
Okay.
I had to drive all the way around.
Fascinating.
When we were staying on lodging, the lodging that we were staying at, which is basically a 2-bedroom apartment, it was amazing.
Yeah.
We were right by the NASA area, so I walked over there a lot, and I was just like, what's going on over here? And I saw them working on some stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is a thing. You're not just occupying the base. You're actually working on things. And people were flying in and out all the time at that location. Langley is popping, man. This space is, don't get it twisted for a second. Langley is where they sent, I really hope nobody comes knocking on my door after this. A certain president, I'm just going to say it. When 9/11 happened, they sent Bush immediately to Langley from Florida. And he went there for a reason. And there are how the Denver airport has all these conspiracies and has this history. Imagine that on the government sector side, Langley. So I started poking around, and I'm like, and the fact that NASA is doing all this stuff right here, and I'm seeing people of importance come in and out. The other one that I talked about openly, POTUS came in town last week, and so he was there. So I purposely put my car next to the flight deck. Hey! And the whole time, I got close enough where I'm still allowed to be right there, but I could not get anywhere near the flight deck the same way. But I was hugging the fence line of it, and I was just there's a lot of stuff happening, but a lot daily activity happens at NASA. Yeah. So I go look, and I'm like, oh, you guys are actively trying to, we as the people inspired the government to take NASA seriously again. because they don't want just Elon Musk and Sir Richard Branson and everybody else just going up there without there being some type of regulations, of course, because that's the good old American way, right? So they are very eager about things that they're doing, and it's just so cool to see. I love many aspects of the space sector as a whole, and it did change my mind about if I joined the service, it would 100% I would want to be in the Space Force just so I can be directly involved and stuff like that. But there's easier ways to still affiliate. All that was a long-winded way of saying I often think about what can I contribute. I like how you say better. What can I add to bring something better? I like how you said that.
Yeah.
I don't have that answer yet, so maybe I won't. You know, I won't do anything unless I know in the Apple fashion, I won't do it unless I can make it better. I don't know, man. Right now, I'm too gushing as a fanboy to see all this stuff happening.
Yeah, and for me, that value right now is, you know, a daily news aggregation show. Basically, I don't feel like I'm bringing a ton of value to the space community at the moment, because basically all I'm doing is just taking stuff that other people have made and combining it into a hopefully entertaining sub 5-minute show.
So you bring personality
that goes out daily. Yeah, so I bring personality and aggregation. I think, you know, there's that. It's definitely something. But what I really want to be doing is actually making the news, right? Like, so you can just drive down there and park across the street and take pictures and make news. Like, it's never been easier. So something that people don't realize is SpaceX really doesn't like the mainstream media, because, you know, every single time anything goes wrong with any of Elon's companies, they're always, you know, plastering all over the face. Yeah. So Elon could care less about the mainstream people. So they don't give the mainstream news any special access at all. And so basically what these individual content creators are able to capture is sometimes at the same level of access, if not even more access than what mainstream media gets. And as someone who wants to cover something, like if I wanted to cover Apple in person, you know, back when we had those, you know, I would have had to be a news anchor, right? Like, to be able to walk into Apple Park and get an interview with Tim Cook, right? Like, you had to be connected for that. In order to get an event invite from Apple, you had to be connected for that. And this whole SpaceX ethos down there in Starbase is very much encouraging of new and upstart smaller creators who are willing to bring value and can bring value to the table and to the, you know, greater collective, right? I've been so impressed at the space community, just how welcoming and excited they are of some dude who's just sitting up in his mom's attic making YouTube videos and, like, kind of, I wouldn't say stealing, but definitely borrowing their pictures and stuff.
Addicts are the new
and talking
garages
about
of
it.
Startups. This is
100%. Addicts are totally the new. Yeah, all of us got started above a garage, and so Drew, Randy, and me all got started above a garage.
Boom.
And so it's just like so exciting, because, like, I know Drew's had that time with the Model Y video where, like, he got, like, copyright strikes and was getting extorted for you know, using some guy's 7 seconds in his video, right? And that's not at all how any of the space community feels. It's just very welcoming and open acceptance of everything. And so I'm super passionate about space, but what I really want to do is get down to Starbase and do actual news work, you know, be tracking stuff down there, because most of the news, like, there's enough to cover a daily news show, sub 5-minute news show every single day so far, and I've been doing it for 5 days now, so it's not like I have a huge track record at the moment, but, you know, it's like there's plenty of news, and the news doesn't seem big on the surface, but what it means is very important, right? So today's big news item was that we're going to be having a test tank test on Monday. And so they moved this test tank from the mid bay where they made it out to a test stand. They looked it over for a couple days, and then they just yesterday moved it down to the the launch site, which is further away from the manufacturer site. And that's the big news for today. And it doesn't seem like a big deal because A, no test happened, and B, you know, like, what the heck? This is just a test tank. It's not even going to fly. But every single one of these little things is iterating on itself and adding up to be a big, a humanity-changing event, right? And so every little piece matters here. Like, all the ground support equipment matters. And so what I want to do, all that to say, my end goal would be to get down to Boca regularly, you know, maybe not full-time down there, but more regularly than not.
So you want to move.
And be I would like to move at some point, but the value has to be. I need to be bringing the value there before that can happen. But I would like to be able to do on-site news stuff. Capture either capture stuff as it's happening and break news, or report on it on the scene. That'll be kind of fun one day. Being able to do my daily video outside next to the road with them moving the equipment down that I'm talking about. That's the dream for me.
Where's this located at?
It's just outside of Brownsville, Texas. So it's basically Mexico. It's about I don't know, quarter mile above Mexico, where their Starbase stuff is. Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah, if you look up Boca Chica Village is what it is on Apple Maps, and this stuff has grown so fast. Apple Maps hasn't caught up. If you look at the satellite view on Apple Maps, it's still just a field.
Nice.
But it's like this whole plant now, and it's just so exciting to see that this is coming and it's real and it's something that's tangible and something that I can add value to. And so, yeah. I guess that's the end of the space monologue on Nick's part.
No way, never. I'm glad you share your passions. That's what all is about. Except for one thing, one very important thing, Nick. We still have to talk about the cube.
Oh, the cube. That cube or the other cube?
No. The
cube.
Not today.
Okay.
Obviously,
Well,
we're out of time. But
not today. I don't think we can fit that conversation
no,
in the last 2 minutes here.
But being outside a lot with nature. Oh man, I second guess a lot of things. You know how we were talking about certain locations that you were visiting, like this is the spot. I'm thinking, well, yeah, I too have considered like, oh, wait a minute, for cheaper locations too. I realize what type of water guy I am. I love lakes more than anything else. I love lakes so much because there's this relaxing factor of being on the water. Every time I kayaked a couple days ago, and I was just having the time of my life. We one time I took a canoe out, and but being on the water, I'm like, oh man, even during the hot summers, the water's actually cooling you down still. Being on the water, I'm like, oh, okay. I don't want to be on a beach anymore. I spent my whole life on a beach, and that's a very privileged thing to say, I know, but that's not what brings me happiness. Being around greenery, on a quiet lake somewhere, and I've been looking for the perfect spot if I was to play hypotheticals and pretend in my life that I was going to stay out here forever, which I won't, but if I were, it's like, where would that perfect spot be so I can just go there almost every day I'm not working here?
Yeah.
And the hunt continues, but on the back of my mind, a certain concept always exists there where it's like, it has to be worthy enough to say, Nick, right here. So I'm not there yet, but the hunt is very much active. In fact, when we get done here, I gotta go. I'm going back outside to go find such a place. There's some spots, man. There's some spots. Yeah.
Good.
You know what I've been thinking about? Just random thought. I want to get back on the space thing real quickly. I'll say this part here, and then I'll just say it once. I'll talk to you more specifically once we cut. But I wanna take you down to Langley. I want you to see some things, and
Oh, you found the aliens, did you?
yeah. I just want you to see some stuff, man.
Okay.
Just want you to see some stuff. There's something I think a Nick and Sweeney type of personality would appreciate, and
Okay.
I think I have the means to escort you onto it. So.
Well, I will be happy to do that one day.
Yeah.
I'll have to plan that.
Yeah. But
Cool.
It's good to do this again. And by tomorrow morning, or at least before Monday, for sure before Monday, I'll have my office a little bit more set up so we can.
Good.
We're about to have the best. This is when we get the busiest in the year, is doing all this stuff, and then we'll have content to talk about for the next month or two, easy.
Yep.
So I'm enjoying this downtime.
We got beta season. Oh no. kiss your Sable phone goodbye. We got beta season starting on Monday.
Oh
I
no,
forgot
oh no!
about
I
this.
still got the 11 Pro. That was intentional. I kept the 11
Okay.
Pro just
Good.
for that. Yeah. No, don't worry. The iPad, on the other hand, depending on what's released, the iPad might get converted to the tester now. Yeah, there are many things I want to test. I learned my lesson though. No more betas on the Mac OS. Regardless, I don't care if it's just a stability improvement. I cannot risk it, and I don't care enough to put that at jeopardy anymore. So, iPhone and iPad. iPhone for sure will get the test. iPad might get, depending on what's released, might get promoted or demoted, depending on how you want to look at it, to now being a test subject, as I may or may not buy another iPad. So I might be like you and waiting for FedEx to show up at my door for days on end.
Well, if you order today one of those new iPads, there's still like middle of July shipping date.
Hey, that's
so
perfect actually.
no-
I don't need. I'm not in a hurry. I don't need anything right now.
No, I'm not in a hurry either. I don't know. We'll see what happens at Dub, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty much over spending a lot of money on technology, like consumer tech.
Hey
Like,
man,
there's
do you
so
still
many
think
other
you're gonna
places.
hold on to the 11 or 12 mini?
12 mini? Yeah, actually, the more I think about it, the more I think I am going to keep holding on to this year.
Same.
Obviously, I'm sure Apple's going to really do a good job trying to convince me. But as we sit here in June, I've thought on probably a dozen occasions, just as I'm using my phone, like I would not mind keeping this for another year. And
The leather's still aging.
at-
Perfect. I'm okay.
the leather is aged so nicely, and maybe I'll treat myself to a new leather wallet, as this one's kind of deteriorated after a year. But anyway, all that to say though, like if I was going to be spending $1,000, and once you have a vision for something though, this is kind of cool about creativity. Once you have a vision for something, everything is just falling towards that vision. Like I could spend $1,000 on a new iPhone, or I could not, and get down to Boca an extra couple weeks a year, or whatever that money could be going towards.
Beautiful.
Getting a better camera system, or getting a more portable laptop or whatever. Like what? And I've said this before. I've even given on this show. I want every dollar that I spend to end up on the screen.
Yeah.
And honestly, iPhone does not end up on the screen. Like I guess it's on the screen right now, but like I use this phone really just for a few things. I don't really watch movies on it. I watch YouTube in the background, some stuff. I text, I call, I scroll through a little bit of social media, but most of the work stuff is not done on my phone. So I don't feel like I can ever justify again keeping a new iPhone for work purposes, if that makes sense.
Perfect sense. Yeah.
It's not. I'm not vlogging with it. I might be using it more of as a hotspot going forward, depending on if we get a 5G enabled 16-inch MacBook Pro, which would be amazing. But
that would be amazing.
It would be the battery life that's going to still limit me. So I just checked my battery health this morning. I was checking out other battery stats. I'm like, I wonder what my health is. I'm at 93%. So
I'm at 97, I think.
It might. Yeah, I know I've been kind of harder on this battery, so I might end up upgrading. I don't know, but I thought like a dozen times. Legit, just like I should just keep this. And,
To be honest, man,
use my resources as well.
just being taken out of my element of the move and stuff like that. And now that I've stopped driving and things like that, daily activity on this phone, I get through a day on my phone. When I go at night, when I go lay down, like say midnight, I look at my battery and I don't charge it all day, and I'm at like 67%. Or something like that.
Nice.
I am not on this phone anymore. I realize I've been able to do exactly what we talked about with the phone, and I have been able to treat this more as a phone and less as let me watch YouTube, blah, 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 all the time. That is no longer the case. I am killing the battery probably quickest by taking all the photos that I've been taking lately and stuff like that, which is fine at that point. But right now, as we sit here, I am at it doesn't show, but I'm at 76%, and I haven't charged it at all.
Wow.
And that's
Wow.
I have been able to break myself from being in my phone, and
That's so important.
yeah,
That is unbelievably important.
yeah. So I just wanted to do a follow up on the
Yeah,
iPhone thing.
absolutely.
But anyway, it's good to do another episode of this.
Yeah,
We'll be back in a couple
have
more
to
months.
do this more regularly.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm settling in. This could be more regular.
Good.
The days of me having to disappear, thank God, are done because I was stressed this whole time anyway. It wasn't fun. So,
It's over now
yeah,
for 3 years.
for 3 years. Yeah.
2 years and 11 months.
Stop it. Stop it. I don't want to think about it. All right. Well, it's good catching up, man.
All right. Do you want to sign us out there, Randy?
Yeah. Everyone else who's hanging out with us, thanks for checking up, keeping up with us, seeing what we've been up to, see what I've been up to with my life, what Nick's been up to with his life. And not this particular angle. If you're watching this, I'm not going to be exactly like this, but more or less we'll be right back here maybe next week, hopefully next week. If I could do this every single day, do one of these, if it permitted in the schedule, I would love to. Just that's not how it works. But I at least, much like doing the other
Same here.
podcasts, I like to just sit down and catch up with you anyway about stuff. So if you guys want to join us, I'll see you guys next week or whenever we get back to one of these. But take care, everybody.
Sounds good.
Thank you for tuning into the Randy and Nick Show.
Godspeed.
Godspeed. I like that. Perfectly. Okay, bye, guys.